Everything that comes into your body comes first to the liver. Liver is the largest internal organ in the body.
What's happening in your liver goes on the M1 main highway, portal vein, straight to the project manager.
Your liver.
I want to show you what it does with everything that comes into the body. So environmental poisons coming into the body, everything goes straight to the liver. And if it's toxic, the liver says, whoa, nasty guy, wrap him up in fat and store him. And if the liver looks at it and says, no, we can break that down to a state that can be easily released, that is what it will do.
The job site is operating efficiently if the project manager is satisfied. By the way, a healthy liver prevents cancer from taking hold of the body. Greetings and happy return. Today's topic is liver health, which is important yet sometimes disregarded in terms of overall health. The liver is a powerful organ that helps the body digest foods, cleanse, and perform other vital tasks. Maintaining the healthiest possible liver becomes increasingly more crucial as we age. Did you know that 1 in 4 persons suffers from a liver illness of some kind, frequently without even being aware of it? This means that your total health depends on your ability to comprehend liver health and how to maintain it. This lecture will cover the functions of the liver, variables that may impact its health, and doable strategies for keeping the liver in good condition.
14 verse 6, it says, knowledge is easy to him that understands. So what I want to do tonight is I want to give you an understanding of your liver, because when you have an understanding of your liver, you actually then have the knowledge on how to treat it. Everything that comes into your body comes first to the liver, and the liver basically determines where everything goes. And everything that comes out of your body comes out under the jurisdiction of the liver. And so I'm going to begin with showing you, which I already have touched on, is what happens with everything that comes into the liver. Now, any environmental poisons that come into the liver assesses it, and if it's really toxic, it wraps it up in fat and stores it. But if it can, it'll break it down to a water-soluble state and release it. What we also looked at in our last lecture is what happens with the food. All of this food breaks down to glucose in the gastrointestinal tract, and then it goes into the blood on the M1 straight to the liver. So here's our liver. And then the liver determines where it goes. The liver is the largest internal organ in the body. Your liver is the only organ that has the ability to regenerate, and you'll see why God made it that so as we go through this lecture. Your liver is called the project manager because everything that goes into the body goes first to the liver. It determines what happens. And so as I showed you in the last lecture, all of this food breaks down to glucose. The glucose goes into the blood and it goes straight to the liver. It's called the portal vein. I call it the M1, straight to the liver. And then the liver determines, first of all, it goes to the cell. So I'll take you through this once more. The glucose goes into the cell. It goes through a 20-step pathway, which gives us 2 units of energy. End result of the 20-step pathway is a chemical form of glucose called pyruvate. Pyruvate, as the chemical form of glucose, gets fed into the powerhouse, called the powerhouse because this 8-step pathway gives us 36 units of energy. And as I showed you, this is the oxygen pathway.
And this is the oxygen pathway, as I demonstrated for you. The source of so much energy is oxygen. Since there is no oxygen in it, this is also known as the anaerobic route. We also looked at how small bunches of grapes, or glycogen, are formed from excess glucose. We also examine the process by which any remaining glucose surplus is turned to fat. This quick-release glucose storage, called glycogen, is stored in and exclusive to your muscle cell. But glycogen can also be stored in your liver. Furthermore, whereas the glycogen stored in your muscles can only be utilized by those muscles, the glycogen stored in your liver is available for usage throughout the body. Gary Taubes is the author of the book, Good Calories, Bad Calories. Perhaps you are familiar with it. It's a well-known book. Additionally, He demonstrates how William Banting, a male, was gaining weight in the 1850s, and he saw Claude Bernard, a well-known French physician, who removed all carbohydrates from him. Then it was known as starches. These days, we refer to them as carbs. What then did he eat? He consumed a lot of veggies and fiber-rich foods. He consumed a lot of cheese, eggs, butter, cream, and meat. His protein was there. Moreover, there is a lot of fat in eggs, cheese, butter, milk, and meat. That's the diet that Dr. Claude Bernard prescribed for him. He appeared lighter as if by magic. Is it clear to you why? You see, your liver can convert protein and fat into glucose, and your fat stores into glucose when you don't provide your body these quick-release glucose stores. And as I mentioned in the previous session, the process of making new glucose from fat storage is known as gluconeogenesis. One of the liver's primary processes, called gluconeogenesis, aids in the production of glucose from materials other than carbs, such as proteins and lipids. This procedure is essential, particularly during periods of fasting, vigorous exercise, or when you're not ingesting enough carbohydrates. It guarantees that your body will always have enough amount of glucose to use as fuel. The liver's functions don't end there. Additionally, it controls cholesterol and removes dangerous toxins from your blood. In other words, it aids in the processing and removal of alcohol, drugs, and other poisons, preventing their accumulation and potential issues. The liver performs these functions and plays a vital role in preserving your general health. It guarantees that dangerous compounds are kept in check, stabilizes your energy levels, and aids in the management of your body's protein and fat reserves. Knowing how your liver functions will help you recognize its significance to your well-being and highlight the need of maintaining this essential organ.
Most people stop the fat because of cholesterol. And this is a good time to look at cholesterol because your liver makes cholesterol. And it makes cholesterol according to the demands that the body puts on it. And 80% of the cholesterol that your liver makes is made from glucose. And 20% of the cholesterol that your liver makes is made from fat. Now this illustration alone shows you it's not the butter on the bread, it's the bread under the butter that's the problem, it's not the fat. Yes, there's a lot of problems with butter today because of the cows that it came from. I put olive oil on my bread. My husband puts avocado on his bread. In fact, most of the time I put both on my bread. Because remember, fat doesn't make you fat. So let me show you the two different types of cholesterol. You've got HDL, which is high density lipoprotein, and you've got LDL, low density lipoprotein. HDL's role in the body is that of a carrier. It carries excess cholesterol out of the blood and back to the liver. That's why it's called the good guy. LDL is the repairer and the rebuilder. Unfortunately, it's called the bad guy. But what you've got to remember is the body doesn't make anything bad. It has a role in the body. It has another role, and it delivers cholesterol to the brain. And your brain loves cholesterol. So let's have a look at how these two work in the body, particularly in the blood. So here's your artery, and because of its high density, HDL's in the middle, and because of its low density, LDL is on the edge. There's an interesting book that I read recently. It was only written about a year ago. It's called Put Your Heart in Your Mouth by Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. She's well known for her gut and psychology book. She spends about 3 chapters showing that the cause of heart disease is damage to the arterial wall. So what damages the arterial wall? They're the endothelium cells.
She devotes almost 3 chapters to demonstrating how artery wall deterioration is the root cause of heart disease. What then harms the wall of the artery? These are cells of the endothelium. Cigarettes contain 4,000 different compounds, all of which can harm the arterial walls. The artery wall is being harmed by the chemicals in our meals, cleaning supplies, shampoos, conditioners, and moisturizers. The arterial wall is damaged by mercury. Fish have it, as does the flu shot, and mercury fillings in our mouths contain it. Mold is hazardous. If mold enters your bloodstream, it may lead to arterial wall perforations. A diet heavy in wheat and sugar produces a lot of glucose, and since sticky glucose binds to protein molecules and adheres to arterial walls, a high-carb diet can be effective. High sugar and alcohol content only fuel it. Students who's going to fill up the holes. The fixer and the renovator. Then the rebuilder and the repairer show up and fix the holes. The fact that the moldy house is killing them is now unknown to the person. They don't really trust the information on the cigarette packets. They are unaware that the chemicals they use to clean their restrooms are also present in their food, which is causing more damage. They are unaware of the harm being done to their oral walls by the mercury fillings. What then is going on inside the arteries? What is the name of it? Atherosclerosis. It would be like to blaming fire engines for a fire to attribute heart disease on cholesterol. Understanding the functions that cholesterol performs in the body can help us better understand how cholesterol contributes to heart disease. In order to make hormones, make vitamin D, and maintain the health of cells, cholesterol is necessary. The accumulation of cholesterol in the arteries is the issue, not cholesterol per se. Plaques can develop from the accumulation of cholesterol in the arteries' inner walls. This causes the arteries to narrow and stiffen, a condition known as atherosclerosis. This may restrict blood flow and raise the possibility of strokes and heart attack.
Dr. Malcolm Kendrick, in his book, The Great Cholesterol Con, he says there is no proof. We've been deceived. So when they increase the cholesterol-lowering medication, which so many are on, sadly, what does that do? Well, what it does is it blocks the pathway in the liver that the liver uses to make cholesterol, but it's the same pathway that the liver uses to make coenzyme Q10. What's coenzyme Q10? It's your heart protective enzyme. So someone can go on cholesterol-lowering medication to reduce their heart disease and increase their risk. Surely that's reducing heart disease, has it? No. Something else is happening. Are you ready for the side effects of cholesterol-lowering medication? Dementia, Alzheimer's, memory loss, muscle wasting, and they've just added another one, breast cancer, because your sex hormones are made from cholesterol. So if you're on cholesterol-lowering medication, you can stop immediately. There will be a side effect. Your memory will return. That's the only side effect. 1,700 cases of Alzheimer's are being diagnosed every week in Australia. Okay, so cholesterol-lowering medication, fat-free diet, margarine, surely that's reduced heart disease? No, because it's a false theory. In his research, Ansel Keys, he had to eliminate the Maasai. They live on blood, milk and meat, zero heart disease. He had to put them out of the equation. They don't prove his theory. Is that true science? Mind you, they don't live long because their poor gut can't handle no fibre, but they don't have heart disease.
Is that a valid scientific theory? They don't have heart disease, but they don't live long lives either, since their weak digestive systems can't handle any fiber. A lie has been told to us. I regret to inform you of the news. They have, however, attempted another approach. This is just another outstanding trick. A nutritionist conducted our program when I was in America 2 years ago, managing a health retreat in Alabama. She was 69 years old. At her age, she was in excellent condition and continued to work. I have the benefit of having received training at a university 40 years ago, she remarked. She stated that we were told 40 years ago that cholesterol levels under 300 were completely safe. By Australian standards, that amounts to around 7.5. Have you heard that? Absolute safety. They've lowered the levels, she claimed. It's 200 in America right now. Medication to decrease cholesterol is prescribed for individuals over 200. In Australia, what would that mean? Is that 5.5? Is that accurate? In Australia, is anybody over 5.5 mandated to take cholesterol-lowering medication? All right, so fat-free diet and cholesterol-lowering medication. The levels have been decreased. That must have decreased cardiac disease. Has it not? Not at all. Not at all. It remains the leading cause of death. However, Alzheimer's surfaced. Because your brain cannot operate without cholesterol, mental disease has emerged. Although it used to be thought that the two main strategies for lowering heart disease risk were fat-free diets and cholesterol-lowering medications, the truth is more nuanced. Studies have indicated that although these interventions can lower cholesterol, heart disease rates are not always reduced as a result of them.
What I'd like to look at now is what happens with everything that comes out of your body. And I'd like to show you what happens at Misty Mountain Health Retreat when our guests fast for 2 days. You see, when you fast for 2 days, we serve fresh fruit and vegetable juices every 2 hours. When you fast for 2 days, digestion stops. And we're not giving enough fuel to run on, and so your body starts to break down fat stores. And something else a little bit more sinister is being released. It's your fat-soluble toxins that have been stored in our fat cells over many a year. And your body cannot release fat-soluble toxins in a fat-soluble state. They have to be broken down to a water-soluble state. Then they can be released. So let me show you how this happens. This is the symbol of the fat-soluble toxin. Phase 1. So our guests on Monday, when they're fasting, their liver goes into phase 1 of the breakdown. In phase 1, the liver takes this fat-soluble toxin and it breaks it down to a metabolite. A metabolite simply means first stage of metabolism. This metabolite is a lot more complicated than it originally was. It's actually highly volatile. This metabolite creates a lot of free radicals. And free radicals damage the tissues. This metabolite can sometimes be 100 times more toxic than it originally was, especially in the breakdown of alcohol. You might say, well, what's the liver done? It's just created something worse than it originally was. It's a process. It's like when I clean out my kitchen cupboards. My kitchen looks 100 times messier than when I started. It's a process. But your liver has certain needs at this phase. It needs antioxidants. Antioxidants are given a nickname, free radical scavengers. So what are your most potent antioxidants? Beta-carotene, that's found in your orange and your green-coloured vegetables. And vitamin C, ascorbic acid with bioflavonoids, and vitamin E, a fat-soluble vitamin. We have to be eating fat to get our fat-soluble vitamins. Now, within 36 hours of beginning a detox, a fast, phase 2 kicks in. In phase 2, the liver takes this highly volatile metabolite and it joins it together with amino acids. The union of the amino acids and the toxic metabolite creates the water-soluble state. And remember, as a water-soluble state, it can be easily released out of the body. And its symbol is a wave in a box. Phase 3 happens in conjunction with phase 2. In phase 3, your liver takes this water-soluble state and releases it out via your urine, releases it out via your sweat glands, releases it out via your colon. And that's why at Misty Mountain Health Retreat, every afternoon our guests go in a steam sauna and have a good sweat. Important part of the detox.
In fact, Some research indicates that a decrease in heart attacks or other cardiovascular events may not always follow a fall in cholesterol levels. Furthermore, cholesterol plays a role in conditions other than heart disease. It is essential for the synthesis of hormones and vitamin D and is a crucial part of cell membranes. Particularly, the brain depends extensively on cholesterol for proper operation. Thus, low levels can cause mental disorders as well as other neurological conditions. These results highlight the need for a more well-rounded approach to heart health. Taking a comprehensive approach that includes stress management, regular exercise, and a balanced diet may be more beneficial than just decreasing cholesterol. This viewpoint fosters a more comprehensive understanding of the factors that contribute to general well-being and calls for a revaluation of conventional wisdom. However, I want to focus on what happens to everything that leaves your body at this point. And I want to show you what occurs when visitors fast for 2 days at Misty Mountain Health Retreat. You see, we serve fresh fruit and vegetable juices every 2 hours during your 2-day fast. Digestion stops after 2 days of fasting. Furthermore, your body begins to break down fat stores because we aren't providing it with enough fuel to function. And there's another, slightly darker thing on the loose. Your fat-soluble poisons are what have been accumulated over many years in our fat cells. Furthermore, when toxins are fat-soluble, your body is unable to expel them. They must be disintegrated into a form that dissolves in water. After that, they can be let go. Allow me to demonstrate how this occurs. This is the fat-soluble toxin symbol. First phase. Thus, during their fast on Monday, our clients' livers begin the first stage of deterioration. Phase 1 involves the liver metabolizing this fat-soluble toxin into a metabolite. The term metabolite refers to the initial stage of metabolism. This metabolite was initially much simpler than it is now. In actuality, it's really volatile. Numerous free radicals are produced by this metabolite. Free radicals also cause tissue damage. When alcohol is broken down, this metabolite can occasionally be 100 times more dangerous than it was initially. Well, what has the liver done, you could ask? Simply said, it turned into something worse than it was before. It's a procedure. It reminds me of when I organize my kitchen cabinets.
Is to the cell to be burnt as fuel. Number 2, the glucose is stored as glycogen. So the third place that the liver will send that excess glucose is as fat. Your carbohydrate part of your meal is your negotiating part of the meal. And the negotiations change depending on your height, depending on your size, depending on your age, depending on your physical and mental output through the day, but probably most it would depend on your health status. So if someone wanted to lose weight quickly, safely, drastically, what would they severely eliminate? The carbs. Someone wanted to conquer cancer, what would they quite drastically drop? The carbs. Someone wanted to conquer their diabetes, what would they drop? The carbs. Look at cholesterol. It's a good time to look at it because the liver makes cholesterol. And by the way, it makes cholesterol according to the demand our body puts on it. And 80% of the cholesterol that the liver makes is made from glucose, and 20% of the cholesterol that the liver makes is made from fat. Now, this information tells us straight away it's not the butter on the bread, it's the bread under the butter that's the problem. And that's what Atkins found. So let's have a look at cholesterol. There are 2 main types. One is high-density lipoprotein called HDL, high-density lipoprotein, and LDL. HDL is usually called the good guy, and the reason for that is it's the carrier. So it carries excess cholesterol from the blood back into the liver. That's why it's called the good guy. LDL is called the bad guy. But what you've got to remember is the body doesn't make anything bad. It has a role. So what is its role? Its role is that of a repairer and a rebuilder.
I started this kitchen, and it seems 100 times messier now. It's a procedure. However, at this stage, your liver needs specific things. Antioxidants are required. We refer to antioxidants as free radical scavengers. Which antioxidants are the strongest in your system? Beta-carotene is the pigment present in oranges and green vegetables. Moreover, vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin, while vitamin C is ascorbic acid combined with bioflavonoids. To obtain our fat-soluble vitamins, we must eat fat. Now, phase 2 of the detox starts with a fast that lasts for 36 hours. Phase 2 involves the liver combining this extremely volatile molecule with amino acids. The water-soluble state is produced by the combination of the poisonous metabolite and the amino acids, and keep in mind that it is easily expelled from the body because it is soluble in water. A wave inside a box serves as its emblem. Phase 2 and Phase 3 occur simultaneously. During the third stage, your liver absorbs this state of water-soluble substances and excretes them through your urine, sweat glands, and colon.
Liver doing today? We're not giving you enough food to run on, and so some of your fat cells are getting broken down to give the glucose that you need, but something else a little bit more sinister is being released, and that is the fat-soluble toxins that have been coming into our bodies over many years. Now this explains why your body odor might be a little worse than usual, why your breath might be a little worse than usual, why what you're leaving in the toilet might have a worse odor than usual, because your fat cells, as they're getting broken down to give you that excess glucose or extra glucose that you need, the fat-soluble toxins are being released. They're back into the blood. What your liver is doing is taking it through 3 phases. Phase 1 of the liver detox began yesterday on your first day of juicing. And in phase 1, your liver took this fat-soluble toxin and it broke it down to a metabolite. So what's a metabolite? Metabolite just really means the first stage of metabolism or breakdown. The first stage of breakdown, the metabolite is released. But this metabolite is highly volatile. This metabolite creates a lot of free radicals. This metabolite is highly toxic. In fact, in some instances, it creates a substance 100 times more toxic than it originally was, especially in the case of alcohol. And you might say, well, what's the liver doing? It's just created something far worse than it originally was. Within 36 hours of starting the detox, phase 2 kicks in. And phase 2 basically comes to the rescue. In phase 2, the liver takes this highly toxic metabolite and joins it together with amino acids. The union of this highly toxic metabolite with the amino acids, in fact, the scientific term is conjugated, basically joins it together like that. So the conjugation of the amino acids and the toxic metabolite releases the water-soluble state, or converts it to a water-soluble. And remember, as a water-soluble toxin, it can be easily released out of the body. So phase 3 happens in conjunction with phase 2. So in phase 3, the body takes the water-soluble state and it releases it out via your sweat glands. What does the body need to support the liver to cope with this toxic metabolite? It needs antioxidants. And antioxidants, they basically mop up the free radicals, these free radicals. So what are the most potent antioxidants? Beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is found in all your orange and your green coloured vegetables.
For this reason, every afternoon at Misty Mountain Health Retreat, our guests enjoy a nice sweat in the steam sauna, a crucial component of the detox. It's critical to maintain adequate hydration and nutrition throughout this procedure. Getting enough water into your system makes it easier for your body to eliminate toxins through perspiration and urine. Because of this, we at Misty Mountain Health Retreat advise our visitors to sip plenty of water in addition to the fresh juices. Detoxification can also benefit from mild exercise. Simple workouts that promote circulation and aid the lymphatic system in eliminating toxins include stretching and walking. Sleeping sufficiently is also very important. While you sleep, your body repairs itself and processes toxins. We stress at the retreat how crucial rest and relaxation are to getting the most out of your detox. You may improve the efficiency and comfort of your detox by being aware of these procedures and providing your body with the right nutrition, moderate activity, and relaxation. I appreciate you seeing. I hope this examination of liver health was both educational and useful to you.